This daf Yom Yerushalmi Challah in the article Oz Bar Addition with Daf Lamed Alf and Rav, the third line down, which is a header. Kiva Merho Kol Halech Achar Krima B'Tanur, and that in the Vilna is on Daf Yudches Amud Aleph, the second to last line. Hakol Kiva Merho Kol Halech Achar Krima B'Tanur. Says the Gemara. Chavrai b'shem Rabbi Elazar said, the Chavra said name Rabbi Elazar, Modeh b'kiva chachamim b'isas hedyot shegilgula tibula. The Chavrai said name Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Akiva says that you go after the crusting in the oven. That's typically in terms of the dough of the non-Jew who's converting. But Rabbi Akiva concedes that in terms of the dough of hekdesh, that if Yisrael kneaded the dough and afterwards made hekdesh and it was baked in under the auspices of hekdesh, the fact that it crusted in the under the auspices of hekdesh in the oven does not exempt from challah, since at the time of the chiyuv, that when the dough was rolled, it was under the ownership of a Jew. Kahana Amar, Divrei Rabbi Akiva, Rav Kahana said, according to Akiva, Ein miruach poiter b'mokam hekdesh. So it's the same idea, just stated differently. So Akiva concedes that if it was kneaded under the auspices of hekdesh and then it was redeemed, even though a private Jew later on bakes it, and the crusting happens in the jurisdiction under the auspices of the regular Jew, it's exempt from challah because the gilgul took place under the auspices of hekdesh. Rabbi Yehuda said, Hadad the Kahana pliga. Rabbi Elazar said that I skipped. Yes, I skipped. Kana Amar Divrei Rabbi Akiva En miruach poter b'makom hekdesh. Rav Kahana said, according to Akiva, the miruach of a grain, the smoothing of the pile of under the auspices of hekdesh, does not exempt from meiser. The Rabbi Akiva is, and the evidence is from Gemara, which actually brought down the Bavli Menachas Tav Samach Vav, that Rabbi Akiva says that the Moser Minchas HaOmer, whatever's left from the Minchas HaOmer, whatever's left after you took off from the harvest which you harvested for the Korban HaOmer, the part which goes to the Korban HaOmer, so then whatever's left is Chayv and Maisris, even though the Miruach obviously have in the hands of Hekdesh. So it would seem that the Gemara says, consider the next line, Rabbi Yehuda da the Kahuna, the Kana, pliga Rabbi Elazar. That which Rav Kahana says that Miruach Hekdesh does not exempt from Meiser seems to argue Rabbi Elazar, who just said, according to Akiva, Gilgul Hekdesh does exempt from Challah. Because the assumption here is that Mandamar Gilgul Paiter Miruach Paiter. You know that the Gilgul on the auspices of Hekdesh is Paiter, then Miruach on the auspices of Hekdesh should be Paiter. Mandamar Ein Gilgul Paiter, the opinion which holds that Gilgul on the auspices of Hekdesh is not exempt, Ein Miruach Paiter should hold that Miruach is not Paiter as well. So we're seeing that, therefore, that which Rav Kahana says argues on that which Rabbi Elazar said. Biram Krabanan, Gilgul Paiter B'Shus Hagoy. According to Rabbanan, obviously one Rabbi Akiva, then the Gilgul Paters B'Shus Hagoy, and that's going to be difficult because Miruach Paiter B'Shus Hagoy. Miruach doesn't exempt on Rishus Hagoy. in Rishus Goy. And this is a Mishnah in the Mai, Parakeh Mishnah Ches. Says you meiser from you can meiser from that which belongs to a Jew and that which belongs to a Goy, but that which belongs to a Goy, that belongs to a Jew. So you see, Miruach Goy doesn't exempt from the Trumas of Meisers, and the Paris of Goy and the Paris of the Goy are Chayv and Meiser, even Mita Raisa. So let's read that again. Bram Krabana Gilgul played B'Shus HaGoy, that we know. And Miruach played B'Shus HaGoy, and yet Miruach does not part the B'Shus HaGoy, as we just said from Masechus Demai. That we said that we know from our Mishnah. I should have said that. Let me do it again. Kasher Rabban Gilgul played B'Shus HaGoy for us, you know, from our Mishnah. Miruach played B'Shus HaGoy, as you know from Masechus Demai, right? So Kasher the Rabbanan. So it's Zivun Rabbanan. Gilgul played B'Shus HaGoy, and Miruach played B'Shus HaGoy. Gilgul does exempt B'Shus HaGoy, and Miruach does not exempt B'Shus HaGoy. Says more, no, it's not a question. Shanya hi d'chsiv v'chol maseh oretz mizera oretz. It said by Meister. It says v'chol vayikra chav zayin lamed chol maseh oretz, which comes to include Peros Goy by Meister, and the Miruach Goy does not pater them. V'hocha leis ksiv milechem oretz. But by Challah, it says, Vayachem milechem oretz. The mi lechem, v'lo kol lechem. So that comes to preclude Gilgul of a non-Jew. Now, we have to go back a bit because the Gemara never explained this for Rabbi Akiva. Why, specifically by the dough of a non-Jew, do we go after the crusting in the oven, and we don't go as you go by the Isa of a Jew versus Hekdesh after the Shas Gilgul. So as the Rash Sibilio explains, the article brings this down also, that when it's in the Parish of Challah by Midbar Tezvav Yudches, it says B'va'achem el Aretz. Chazal learned from this that immediately when they enter Eretz Yisrael, even they found dough which is already kneaded, and then the Israelim baked it, the Jews that came in and baked it, they had to take off challah. So the question is, why were they chayv in challah? Gilgul was b'shus nachri on the non-Jews' auspices. This Rabbi Akiva learned there's a special halacha in terms of the dough of a non-Jew that the kneading does not determine its status, but only its crusting in the oven. He points out here in the article that it's a chumrah, only a chumrah. If it was, but the other way around, if it's nisgal b'shus Yisrael, no, it's a chumrah. Even if it was nisgal b'shus akum, and then Yisrael got it and baked it, Yisrael is chayv mechal. But the other way around, if it was kneaded by a Jew, and then it was crusted in the oven in the rishus of a non-Jew, once it became mechuyev b'shas Gilgul, the crusting in the oven on the auspices non-Jew does not exempt it from challah. The Rashba in Tshuva, again, the article brings this down as interesting explanation. He says that there's like Shnei Makishim Zed Zeh. So we have Pasuk in which says Veshisa Riso Sechem Challah Turim Muchma, and then the other part says Midlechem Oretz. Which one is it? So Rabbi Akiva says that snakes and machishim said without a kosva shlishi shachriya b'neihem. How do we deal with it? So the Rabbi Akiva holds that the part when it says ariso sechem, that's talking about a dough which was godla b'chiyuv, which came to this current status in the chiyuv, meaning a Jewish dough, and the Gilgul for it, the status is determined by Gilgul. Whereas the pasuk lechem oretz, as that refers to and is a dough which is godla b'ptur. The antecedents of it was a ptur, that is meaning the dough of a non-Jew. So in terms of that, it is the krima batanur, the crust in the oven, which makes the determination. The article points out there's a little bit of a difficulty with the Rashba's interpretation because, according to this, you have to say Isas Hekdesh, where the Gilgul is Kovea Leptur is also considered to be Gadla B'chiyuv. Okay, let's require, as he brings down that let's look at the Marit Al-Ghazi and the Torah Zroim, but I think that's beyond the scope of our capacity at the moment. But we said that according to Rabbi Hila named Rabbi Lazar, Chacham Kiva concedes Chachamim that Isa Sektesh Gilgul Paters, and Kahana said Ein Miruach Poitim Malkam Hektesh, that Miruach Hektesh is not Pater. And now the Gemara comes discuss a bit further. Am Rabbi China Braid Rabbi Hillel Minadad Rabbanim from the following statement Rabbanim Ani Yofin, we learn Ani Yofin the Lay Sadot the kind of plea Rabbi Lazar. There's no that there is no machlokas between the two of them. Kama should be the Rabbanin Amri. It's like the Rabbanan say Gilgul Pater Birshus Hagoy. Gilgul of dough exempts that dough from Gilgul dough under the auspices of non-Jew exempts that dough from challah. Even though Miruach Hagoy does not exempt from Ein Miruach Pater Birshus Hagoy, Miruach Hagoy is not exempt that grain from Trumas and Maisus. Cain, Rabbi Akiva Omer, so too Rabbi Akiva says, and here we have some change of girsa. Akiva says, Gilgul Pater B'shus Hektesh. Gilgul exempts B'shus Hektesh, as we just discussed. Ve'ina Miruach Pater B'shus Hektesh. Whereas Miruach doesn't pater by in B'shus Hektesh. So, just like Rabbanan, again, just like Rakoy Rabbanan, the Miruach B'shus Goy doesn't pater Meiser from Meiser. Gilgul B'shus Goy paters from Challah. So too Rav Kahana holds that even though Miruach Hektesh doesn't pater from Meiser, Gilgul Hektesh does pater from Challah because of the pasuk of Ariso Seichem. So he argues on Rabbi Yoino, who made the linkage between Gilgul and Miruach, and he says, Rabbi Chena says, no, they're not linked. According to both Rabban and Rabbi Akiva, there's a difference between the Gilgul and Miruach. They're not necessarily the same halacha. Halacha hey, Osev Isa Mina Chiti Mina Ores. Somebody who makes dough from wheat and from rice. Yesh Badam Dogon. It has the taste of the grain. Chaves, we see this halacha of grayer, which we had before, that to use the precise scientific terminology, the wheat schleps the rice into a chiyuv. Yesh a time dog and chayeves. Yotze bo adam yidei chalos. So a person fulfills the obligation on Pesach because of the greira. Im ein bo time dog and doesn't have taste of grain. Ein chayeves challah be'ein adam yotze yidei chalos Pesach. And if it doesn't have taste of grain, there is no greira, and it's not chayim challah, and a person does not fulfill his obligation in Pesach. On Pesach, for can't use it for matzah. Hanotel soor mi isa shlohur mechalosa. Nosin took isa shor mechalosa. So he took sourdough from a dough, which has a shear of challah, and the challah has not yet been taken, and puts it into a dough from which challah has been taken. So you have soor of tevel, which is mixed up in a non-tevel dough. If you can reckon how much challah you owe, then you take off the challah from elsewhere, according to the shear which you are required to take off. If not, motzi challah achas al hakol. If not, then you set aside challah from the dough in which the sourdough is mixed on the entire dough. Because since the sourdough asers this dough on account of tevel, it asers b'choshu, and it's as if, for this purpose, this dough now is tevel tavel challah. Therefore, you have to take off challah on the entire dough. Kertibo, similar case. They say meisik. This is in terms of shumas and maisos. You have olives that a balabas collected, which are chayim shumas and maisros. Mesik is the term for harvest of olives. So you have zayis and zayis nikov, which kind of mixed up with olives of the poor, which are exempt from manos aniyim. Nikov is like snap from the tree, snap from the tree in a way in which they're potter because they're manos aniyim, more of the after, something of that sort. Inve batzir. You have harvested grapes from harvested schreiben and mices. Imir olos with grapes which are olos, which are matnos and potter. Im yeshu masam makamache and they got mixed together. If you can take off chumas mice elsewhere, motzi lechib fi cheshbon. You take off proportionally. If you lave not motzi chuma uchumas mice lakol. You have to take off chumas meiser for the entire thing. So this chacham or machmer by chuma and chumas meiser, since tevel chuma is tevel chuma, which is tevel chuma schai miso for eating it. But the other shar meisers, that's what Shar says. Chai miso on everything. No, he means if you eat the truma, because our Easter truma's mice is chai misa. So that you do that with more machmir on that. You have to take off based on the entire mixture. But char meiser, the rest of the meiser, besides the trumas meiser and meiser shein fi cheshbon, based on the cheshbon of the proper proportion. Okay, that was we did Mishnah Zayin, Mishnah Ches, and Mishnah Tes, and we could finish Mishnah Yud to finish the end of the Mishnah, but that's going to get us Lamed Beis already. So I think we'll stop here for today. I've done pretty far Lamed Beis already.